It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Conversations with Joan. Conversations with Joan will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life's Conversations with Joan. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Conversations with Joan focuses on topics that are important to your life, from health and wellness to professional development to personal well-being. Changemakers join me to share their insights, tips, and strategies so you can thrive and live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. Now, let's start talking. People love angels. The thought of having a guide by our side is comforting. But what do we really know about angels, and how can they impact the way we live? Today's guest, Lorna Byrne, has been seeing and talking to angels since she was a baby. She joins us to offer insight into the angelic help that is around us all the time. Lorna is a spiritual teacher who is the author of 7 best-selling books, including Angels in My Hair, A Message of Hope from the Angels. She's the founder of the Lorna Byrne Children's Foundation and the Seraph Foundation. Welcome, Lorna. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
You're welcome, Joan. I'm looking forward to answering whatever questions you ask.
Well, as I said, Lorna, you've been on the show a few times, and I've even had the pleasure of spending time with you in person, and your work is life-changing. The times that you've been on the show, you talk to us about angel guidance, and you've always spoken about the importance of our guardian angel, and that's where I'd like to lead off. You believe that when we deepen our relationship with our guardian angel, we can learn more about ourselves. So how can we learn to develop this relationship?
I would always say to everybody, whether you believe or not, just give yourself a chance. You have nothing to lose. And probably the first thing to do is, to ask your guardian angel for a sign. But your guardian angel is the one angel that God has given you as a gift that came from the heavens with your soul at the moment of conception, and never leaves you for 1 second and loves you unconditionally. And to me, that is so incredible. A gift from God that you have been given. And so many of us, in a sense, don't strive to allow ourselves to even believe or to make that connection, because making that connection to your guardian angel, you're saying thank you to God for your guardian angel, for it being there with you, for it being the gatekeeper of your soul. And you get to know yourself more because you start to, in a sense, become aware of the guidance that you're being given. And it's like we even become closer spiritually to our soul, which is that spark of light of God. So I just love the way, how can I explain? Sometimes it's hard to put into words, but the connection that God has given us to God and allowing our soul to intertwine with the human part of us. I always say, your soul is pure love. So many times we don't listen to God, or regardless of what religion we are, or maybe we don't believe in anything. But I'm hearing people just saying they're starting to believe in their guardian angel, but they believe in nothing else. They're starting to recognize that they're not alone for 1 second, and that they can cope with life more, and in a sense, become themselves, become what I would say the real you, to have courage and confidence within yourself. And I've been traveling all over the world, and I've never seen any human being, whether you would say they're good or bad, or you turn around and you say, well, they're a different religion, so they couldn't have a guardian angel, because that's what people would say to me. The thing is, they do have a guardian angel, and they do have a soul. And to me, that is just incredible.
Lorna, if we all have a guardian angel, can that angel intervene if we don't ask for help? For example, you just mentioned an evil person. Can that angel intervene to change that evil person's heart, or can they only get involved if we ask them to?
I would say yes, the guardian angel does, it interferes. I can't pronounce that word now. You said intervene. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Yeah, and yes, your guardian angel does, but it still can't overstep free will, the free will that the human being has in that way. And I would always say, I see it happening all the time. I often see someone that, everybody would say is not a good person, and then maybe see something that is happening and see them step back and not do what they were going to do in the first place. And that again leads back to prayer, where people are praying and asking for, like at the moment, all the negative things that are happening in the world, for things to change. And you can see the fight or the battle, you could say, between the human being and the the spiritual self. The human being is what does all the wrong. The soul can't do any wrong because it's the spark of light of God, and neither can your guardian angel. But they're all the time intervening, all of the time to give us the guidance to go right or to go left or to go straight on. And I love the way that your guardian angel helps you to feel guilty about something, but we're very good at putting that guilt, pushing it really back. But that's your guardian angel saying to you, think about what you're thinking of doing. Is it right? Is it wrong?
It really does feel today like there is a battle between good and evil. Do you believe that there's an awakening taking place?
I do believe there is, because to me it's incredible that God has me doing what I'm doing. I'm not educated in a university or a school. I've been educated by God and the angels, and just, I can't even read, even though I write books, but I can't go back and read them myself. And I know we say a battle between, good and evil. The good is the soul and the evil is the human being. We have a choice. We can change our mind humanly. We don't have to do what we're doing. But I know it's all to do with pain and hurt and anger and revenge of more or less the past or what's, or the injustice that's happening to today. And it's all about, in a sense, material things and money in that way. When one is faced with, say, a loved one that is dying and can't be cured, I would have many parents say they would give everything away if God would give them back their child or back their wife or back their husband or back their brother or sister. So we have the choice. So I don't say there's a battle between good and evil. I would break that down. It's the wrong, the evil is the wrong that man does, the human part of us, that's greedy and selfish. And we have turned so much towards material things in that sense. And yet God is showing us all of the good things, even what's in nature or what's left in nature. And again, God has given us, the gift of a guardian angel, has given us a soul, so we live forever. We don't die. It's only the human part at the moment. But yet an Irish saying would be, we're head-bent on destroying it. But in doing that, we're destroying ourselves in that way. So we have to bring more love. I always say to everyone, because the guardian angels are, sometimes when I have people here, the guardian angel would tell me this man or woman or child doesn't love themselves. They see themselves as negative and bad, and, they're depressed and they're down and they're full of anxiety because they have been told, in a sense, humanly, it's wrong to love yourself. But we have to love ourselves so we can love others more. That's one thing God and the angels have always taught me. You can't love anyone any more than you love yourself. So we've got to put more love out into the world, more compassion, more hope, we've got to have empathy. All the gifts that you cannot buy, the world is searching for today. We're searching for peace today across the world, but it's not for sale. You can't buy it. We have to touch each other with peace. We have to, I always go back to the Bible or the Quran. We have to be the good shepherd. We have to be, the Samaritan to reach out. It's like God has asked us, which is hard for a human being, to do no wrong, to love instead, to forgive and forgive ourselves. I think the world has to, each and every one of us has to forgive ourselves.
Lorna, if someone wants this guidance in their life, how can that person learn to listen to their guardian angel?
Well, I would say to you, to everyone, your guardian angel is teaching you, God is teaching you to listen, to respond. And a lot of the time, we're saying, well, what does it mean? We're looking for a meaning for something when you shouldn't be looking for a meaning. They're just teaching you to respond. And it could be that, I have a pair of glasses on the table here that my guardian angel says to me, go and move them to the far side of the table. It's like, go and do it. Or your guardian angel, you could be out walking, just tells you to go into the shop and maybe buy something you don't want if you have the money. Or your guardian angel could say to you, smile at that person that's passing you, and you don't. Most of the time we don't because we're lazy, but if we could get into the habit of responding and not saying, what does it mean, what's in it for me? When something really important comes, it's like a turn in your life or a big decision. You hear quite clearly and you go in the right direction. Like, I know many people out there would be saying to themselves, I had the feeling I was to go left, but all the advice I was getting from everybody was telling me to go right. And the way when you say to yourself afterwards, I knew I should have gone left, not right. I knew I shouldn't have listened. I should have gone the other way. That was your guardian angel. That was God telling you what way to go, but you weren't good enough at responding. So if your guardian angel said to you now, lift up your glass of water, go and lift it up. When you were a baby, you were learning how to walk, how to stand. And imagine how many times you tried, how many times you fell until you got perfect at it. So let your guardian angel teach you. Let God teach you. And, sometimes when you're angry or mad or someone says something really negative to you or hurts you emotionally, I know your guardian angel and God would be saying to you, take a deep breath, step back, and just love.
I have noticed that I get those types of messages all the time. I call them feelings. Like sometimes it's just a knot in the stomach, or like you said, it's just something but you don't know how you know it or why you know it.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That's the angel guidance. That sometimes you might say, oh, a coincidence, a God wink, whatever you want to call it, but that is the divine guidance in each of our lives.
Yes, it is the divine guidance. And again, it is, whatever you want to call your guardian angel. Like in different cultures, they might call your guardian angel your main guide or something like that in some way. But it's the divine guidance from God itself, from creation. And we as human beings, because we have the soul of pure love, that can never be contaminated by whatever the human being does. But the human being is given, that gift, of the soul, and you have a choice. Mm-hmm. You can say yes or no. You can be angry, you can be mad, you can destroy, or you can love, or you can reach out that helping hand. You can forgive. We all need to forgive ourselves for everything of the past, and the past is like, a few hours ago, a moment ago, because we are stepping into the future every second.
And Lorna, we each know the right thing to do, but the problem is the ego gets in the way. But if you really think about it, the right thing to do. We should forgive and love, but for whatever reason, some of us have trouble doing that.
God and the angels have often shown me, and that is, sometimes it's pride. Sometimes it's, you want to be like everyone else when you're not like everyone else. We should all be ourselves. It's always the few that step back and say no to something that has changed things over the centuries. The one person, look back through history and you see the one person who stood up and said no, or a doctor, the doctor who said everyone should wash their hands so babies wouldn't die and mothers wouldn't die. At that time, that doctor was given, that defined guidance, but the rest of the world didn't want to take it on, said he was crazy, threw him into prison or a mental asylum, and then later on, we discovered he was right.
Lorna, when we lose someone we love, like our parents or a spouse, a child, people often say, oh, your loved one is with you, watching over you. Is that true? Do they become guardian angels or angels in our lives?
I love the way you say that. Do they become angels? No, they don't become angels. But the angels love when we say that, because it's an expression of love. It's like when a mom and dad says, my child now is an angel in heaven. And I love that, the way the angels say they love that expression of love. But your child or your loved one, your mom or your dad, they are more than any angel ever could be, because they're that spark of light of God. I think mankind has just put angels on pedestals, but the angels have us way, way higher on pedestals, because you have to remember your guardian angel is the gatekeeper of your soul. It's in the presence of God all the time. And that's another reason why the angels love to be in and around us and are trying so hard to help us to respond, so that we will make as many of the right decisions or choices as possible.
Lorna, in our final moments, what's the takeaway? What would you like to leave our listeners with?
I think one of the most important things, just say to yourself, what have you got to lose? And to recognize that you have a soul, that spark of light of God, and that you have a guardian angel, and that you are the beacon of light. So please allow yourself to shine brightly.
Lorna, thank you so much for coming back on the show. I really enjoy our conversations. And as I said in the beginning, your work is changing so many lives. And I do encourage our listeners to visit lornabyrne.com. And I look forward to having you come back on again.
Same here. It's been a pleasure talking with you, Joan, and just getting the message out, because everything that has happened in my life is a miracle and evidence for everybody in the world, connecting spiritually and allowing that intertwining to happen, and allowing yourself to, how would I say, turn the pages and be you, the real you.
Thank you for joining us. I hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided is the opinion of our guest and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, CYACYL.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on the site, listen to past shows on demand, read our digital articles, and be sure to subscribe to our mailing list. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.